Thank you, Alexis. I will speak less than 5 minutes. Yes, too, because this is, is a workshop and will be nice to discuss among all of us. And the theme of the workshop is approaches to a post-oil future. And there are some relevant questions for the discussion. And one of these questions is, what are the scenarios for post-extractivism? And how to build coalitions, and who wins and who loses. I will always focus my presentation on the Ecuadorian reality, of course, on what we have been working on with during the past years. And this has to do with the Yasuni proposal that I mentioned this morning. And now I am going to talk how historically we achieve and we approach this post-oil civilization, represented in this case by the Yasuni. And the path that we follow is, first of all, to recognize the already resistance of the indigenous people in my country and in other parts of the world. Indigenous peoples, campesinos or peasants or ordinary people. Then we thought, okay, we have this resistance, so the obvious support to this resistance is to declare the moratorium to the new oil projects that have been taken in these territories. Okay, indigenous people or local communities are resisting, so we are going to to spread the idea that we need to apply a moratoria. On that time, we thought that it was a good idea. The moratoria to oil projects in these territories. Then we realized that the moratoria is not enough. I mean, it's not enough to stop and to change to a post-oil civilization, because the moratoria can say, okay, today we are going to leave the oil in the soil, but tomorrow, maybe with another technology or whatever, so we say, no. Moratoria is good, but not enough. So then we thought about this idea to leave the oil in the soil with an example like the Yasuni proposal. But after, we have to think what is going to happen afterwards if we stop to say. So if we are going to stop exploiting oil, like in the Yasuni or other parts in the world. And we define what we call the energy sovereignty. I mean, a post-oil Ecuador must be linked with this idea to have an Ecuador sovereign in terms of food, in terms of economy, in terms of many things, including energy. And what means this energy sovereignty? It's nothing to do with energy security, for sure, but energy sovereignty has like some bullet points that can be or should be followed. Like, first of all, the first step could be what in many countries is happening, is like to renationalize the oil activities, to re-statize, I don't know if this is the word exactly, to put again the decisions regarding the oil industry in the hands of the state and not in the hands of the transnational corporations or private companies. So this is a first step, but this is not also enough, because we know that if the oil industry or activities are in the hands of the state-owned companies, it will be the same. I mean, the same pollution, the same, corruption, or the same. So we say, okay, this is the first step, but we have to go beyond that. And energy sovereignty means, for instance, that all the decisions that has to do with energy has to be in the hands of the ordinary people in the local communities, in all the sectors involved on that, not only technicians, bureaucrats, or geologists, but everybody in the country needs to give an opinion regarding what means energy and energy sovereignty. Also, it's important to think that we have to set some questions. Okay, we are going to discuss, first of all, we need energy, what for? We need how much energy? We need to decide where is this energy coming from? We need to decide which type of energy. We need to decide and to answer several questions at the beginning before we move toward a certain energy sovereignty or energy supply or energy access or whatever we decide to do. And of course, any of the energies that we decide to have, in terms of, as I mentioned this morning, heat, movement, or electricity, we have to have a diversity of energies. Not only one, but several types of energies, solar, aeolic, maybe small-scale hydro energy. The energy supply must be absolutely decentralized at the local level, and we don't like these national grids of electricity, no. We want very locally supplied. Low impact, of course, renewable, and we have to redefine what is renewable in this sense, but renewable in the sense that is not harming, for instance, food sovereignty, or is not harming the rights of the people where this energy is being produced, etc. And then, I mean, taking the time that is necessary, we have to say, okay, we have to, on that moment only, to see which must be the sources, who is going to decide where this energy is coming from and going to, and of course everything under process of democracy, under processes of self-determination of the people, and of course to think that we cannot have the same energy matrix with a different type of energy. We have to stop to talk about the famous energy matrix, because we are going to commit the same mistake than we want to solve. Because oil is absolutely impossible to replace in terms of amount of energy concentrated in one unit. It's impossible. So if we want to maintain the same energy matrix, putting all the oil out and fill it with renewables, we are going to collapse. If collapse in terms of wind or solar or whatever. If we are going to maintain the same energy matrix, putting out nuclear and oil, we are going to fill this with renewables, with, I don't know, solar, wind, etc., and we are going to collapse. So we really need to think, what are we talking about when we talk about energy matrix? Matrix, you know, is like a square mind. So no, we don't want a matrix. We want to think in energy sovereignty from plurinationality, from rights of nature, from human rights in general, and only on that moment we can think, okay, we are going to build not a matrix, but maybe, I don't know, a spiral, or maybe a different way of thinking about energy. So this is only the few things that I wanted to say. A post-oil civilization must have a path, or different paths, is not only one, but in the case of Ecuador, it started by resistance, by propose the idea of more oil exploitation, starting in different spaces or territories, and of course at the same time to think about energy sovereignty. That means to answer some questions like energy for whom, for what, from where, how much, etc., and from a democratic debate, a plurinational debate, and of course thinking that any energy sovereignty must harm rights of nature and rights of humans. That's it. Thank you.